What's going on, everybody? We have a big one going on today. Um, Today, I promised you guys, I was supposed to start this 30 minutes ago, so use my tardiness. I was dealing with PayPal with some things. Um, I promise you that this particular one live will be a good one, and it is intended to help our women understand the nature of men. And for those who know me, those who know I've studied the martial art, the laws of nature, and so on and so forth, the psychology of humans and nature and man, and man's natural responses to being a follower, being a leader, and so on and so forth. Well, I'm coming to talk to the women today to understand the nature of a man. I by no means am a psychologist. Um, would never claim to be one, nor do I want to be one. I'm not a doctor because they kill people somewhat with medication and that type of thing. So I'm not going to say they really kill people, but what's going on? So today I'm going to talk to you about the nature of man, the real natural nature of man, his instinct, not the televised stuff on what they tell you to do about a bank account. I'm talking about the real nature, his senses, how he responds to things as far as it pertains to a woman, and so on and so forth. What's going on, Deshaun? Who's that, Banks? Now, just to let you guys know, if you're on Facebook, click the link above, and it will send you to the live YouTube channel where you can see majority of the comments that are going on YouTube, because Facebook keeps blocking a lot of my posts and things. So I'm just personally getting tired of them. Yo, what's up? I wish I could see y'all's faces on the YouTube thing where we could interact and do like a live question and answer type thing. I need to figure that out. I know we can do it. I think I just got to figure out how to do it. Also, on the, I think it's on the bottom of the screen. I have to check it because I didn't have time to do it. Oh, what's going on? I'm working. I have a donation button that'll be on the YouTube channel. This is just a brief description of this. This particular donation button is a donation button. It can be a penny, it can be $1, it can be $100, it can be $5, whatever it is your heart tells you to do. This donation button is money that is being donated from my fellow indigenous brothers and sisters to help purchase the land to build Spectrum City. Spectrum City, everybody know what light spectrum is, frequency. That's why it's called spectrum, because we deal with colors and light frequencies and things. Everything in nature deals with the spectrum grid. We actually feed off of it. Spectrum City is a city that I have been working on, and project I've been working on, featuring geodesic dome housing, organic living, one massive kitchen that all of us partake in, and cooking and cleaning of the food and keeping stock of the food, a gardening area, a training area for you where you can learn martial arts and combative healing, combative techniques in order to say, keep yourself from being robbed or, pull it off the streets. An education area, a child care and development area. Hey, Miss Duncan. Miss Duncan, go click on that link above. It has a YouTube link on there, and it'll link you down to the YouTube channel where you can see a lot of where the comments and posts are being. That is my main project that I'm working on, the Spectrum City. The main meat and potatoes with this is that there's a lot of us that have a particular skill set. And in that particular skill set, that we all utilize that one thing that we will wake up and do every day. that made us, just not made us happy, but that increased our happiness. If you could wake up and do that one thing every day for 4 hours, 3 hours, or whatever it is, and that one thing will help contribute to the village, whether it's sewing, gardening, music, combat, livestock, traveling, diplomatic things, banking, secretarial, whatever it is, use that to contribute towards the city. Okay. So that's what that donation page is about. You guys that are on the Facebook page, I'm on 2 different streams right now. So if I keep looking back and forth, that's why. Hello, Miss Garnett. Click on that YouTube link that's on the top of this header before it gave the description, and come down and subscribe and join us on the YouTube channel, because I want you guys to be able to be interactive with the people that are here too, because I really want you guys' feedback, and I want to answer as many questions as I can to help with the relationship thing as far as dealing with the martial and natural nature side of a man, so you don't have problems in the relationships, and you'll learn how to use your energy, your feminine softness, to control the masculine presence in the house in a humble way, and gain about a more peaceful resonance within your village. So, saying that to say, you guys, again, go to the YouTube channel, because I don't like Facebook because they keep blocking my stuff. Go to the YouTube channel, click on it, join the village and the family down here. Hold on, trying to make sure I acknowledge everybody. Hey, Empress. Click on the YouTube channel, come down here and join the village family, because we don't like Facebook. And we're going to get this started. Today's topic is understanding the nature of a man and learning how to use your feminine natural energy to get him to be more conducive in the household. Okay. Please don't take offense to anything I may say. If you do, oh well. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm telling you how it is. I've had 100% success rate with this. You can believe me or you cannot believe me. But I guarantee if you listen to what I'm telling you, there is no man and no relationship that you won't be able to see or figure out if you follow what I'm telling you. Okay. This is coming from my point of view. Even when I was young, middle-aged, I made these mistakes and didn't understand why certain things was done. But through these teachings, it allowed me to have a better understanding on why men and women do certain things. We're not that far off from nature at all. Actually, we're very close to nature. We just like to make ourselves think that we're higher than nature, but we're really not, because everything we do is based off of nature, from our houses, our clothing, the way we eat, the way we hunt, the way we gather food, the way we store food, the way we, everything. We're all in the same grid. We just look different and do things in the same way, but different way based upon our geographical location. Good day, love. God, I love Moringa iced tea, boy. It's nothing like it. All right, let's get this started. Welcome to everybody on Facebook. Welcome to everybody on YouTube. It's me, Sensei Sage, the Code Breaker. Let's get into this village and temple life and get down to the nitty-gritty. First off, you have the nature of a man. Men, you have an alpha male, a passive-aggressive alpha male, and then you have the cub mindset that's trying to learn his way. Okay? None of them are wrong. They just are in different stages of their life, just like things are with our women. The passive-aggressive male is the one that they're more laid back. They're not easily to influence into a fight, or they kind of weigh out a situation before they do things, before they go into deals, before they make purchases, before they make any decisions that's dealing with the family unit. A passive-aggressive alpha male will think about the family unit first. Hey, Ms. Brown, every action that they make is based upon not himself, but the family. The happier the family is, the more successful he feels as a leader. If he is pushed to fight, there usually is only one aspect. You're either living or dying. So they try not to get into that aspect. They try to take the more political route. They try to go around so that everyone makes it, okay? The alpha male. The alpha male cares nothing about his woman. Everything that he does is based upon what he wants as far as it pertains to money, sex, education, so on and so forth. Everything else that attached to that is like a trophy or glorification for him. Usually most women are attracted to that. The problem with that is, and I'm going to show you the downfall on both ends. The problem with an alpha male is the more you're around an alpha male, usually alpha males will isolate you. Okay? That's what they do. So they call them alpha. They'll isolate you. And when they isolate you, they'll make sure you have all your money. You won't have to go to work. You won't have to do anything. They'll keep giving everything to you, which makes you comfortable. Usually those relationships will last anywhere from 8 to 10 years before the feminine energy starts to realize that she does not, her self-identity is starting to trickle away. Which means, I want to do my own thing. He won't let her. If she tries to go out, where are you going? She starts to not feel like she has life in her. When she starts to separate from that, he tries to use things as far as finances or causing problems in the family, or he may even use the household responsibilities as a means to make you feel guilty to stay in the household, to maintain control. Even trying to use, they'll even try to use psychological and in some cases aggressive behaviors to shake your mind from wanting to gain balance through your own self-identity or your own will in doing it, as far as, like I say, going out, working out, meeting people, whatever. They try to keep you from exploring through your will or energy to see what's out there, to be able to be free and say, go to the park and let people see you. They don't want that. So they control that. That can be a flaw. It can also become dangerous because it can become life draining because you can't give and receive energy the way you're meant to be. Same thing happens with the male. After a while, he'll feel like, I pay the bills. It's all I do is work. It's all I do, and you don't care. You guys are getting to this back and forth battle, which doesn't show growth in a relationship. You just have the image of growth, which means you'll have the house, you'll have the cars, you'll have all these things, but you're really dying in the household. The passive aggressive male can sometimes he can be so passive sometimes to where you can get bored because there's no he's not making decisions based off of him. He's making decisions based off the house. So he won't just get up and say, hey, let's go do something adventurous. He won't do that. Okay? Because the decision is not something that was given to him based upon what the house needed. That's one of the downfalls of being with a passive aggressive alpha male. Then you have the cub. The cub is learning his way. He'll do what his boys do, what the other lions do over here. They'll go to the club because they went, and they'll, go to the strip club and try things they saw at the strip club and bring energy home because he doesn't have the wisdom to be able to understand the whole natural program of the environments that he's in. So he'll bring it home to play with, like a cat with a ball. They'll tear up stuff playing with it, unknowing, not on purpose, but it's just out of ignorance. So to alleviate certain things emotionally, physically, financially, and psychologically, as far as cheating, dietary, how to keep them mentally happy, how to start dating men. That dating process is very important. This is where we're going to start. When you meet a man, never, ever, ever, ever allow your first date to be with you made up. Do not do that. You never, ever do that. You always let him see you for who you are. Always, flaws and all. Without your makeup on, without the swirl thingy that y'all do in your head and the eyelash, you take all that stuff off. Let him see you. Because if he can't embrace you for who you are in the beginning, he's not going to respect you later on. Okay? If you give him a code in the beginning where you're made up and then you get in the pool and hop out, and now you don't look like the person that he met, he will psychologically and through law and through nature, he will begin to wander. Okay? In other words, his chemistry, his testosterone level is not up. Now, when you meet him, you go out just like how I'm dressed. You go in sweats. You go. Good day, Miss. Was it Fleming? You guys that's on the Facebook, click on that YouTube link on the top portion and join us in the Facebook channel. And make sure you hit a like and subscribe, because a lot of people are going to be usually after the Facebook. They'll come down here and on the Facebook channel. As the subscriptions go up, I start giving out tangible assets. Gold, silver, copper. It could be a case of smudge sticks. It could be a case of incense, a case of frankincense and myrrh, sacred oils. It could be anything that's tangible to your physical, spiritual, and mental growth is what I'll send. And the person that I'll pick, I will send them a message to inbox me their if they have a PO box or somewhere they would want to be sent for me to mail it, and you would get it certified mail. You sign for it, so that way I know that you got it and it'll be secured. Trust me, this will be the first site that will pay out to you just for sharing, watching, and subscribing. All right, let's get back to this. All right, so you meet Rufus, and when you meet Rufus, the first place you want to take him is in nature. All right. The very first thing you should go in is in sweats. Do not be made up. Don't wear high heels. Don't do anything that gives a advertised perception of who you really are. Let him see you for who you really are. Do not tell him about your exes. Don't tell him talk about your family. Don't talk about any of that stuff. You go out in sweats. You don't go to dinner. You don't do any of that because those are different stages. When you go out, you go somewhere in nature, in public. I always recommend to go to a park. The reason why you want to go to the park is because at a park, you can watch and observe his natural, instinctual behaviors. Get the man out of him. Don't look at the man. Look at the natural instinct of him, the animal instinct of him. All men have it. What usually happens is most men and women don't even take time to understand the natural instinct of a man. Okay? And a man with a woman. But we're going to talk about men today. If when you meet him, most men who are observant, who are wise, who are very cautious about things, he won't come on you and just, and try to pick you up and all that other stuff. He will approach you in a proper, humble manner, face to face. He will respond to you based upon your greeting towards him. He will read you. That's your first sign of seeing if he is internally and naturally paying attention to you using his senses. In other words, reading your body language. How do you smell? How do you stand? Do you stand with your shoulders hunched? Do you not look at him? Are you always looking at the ground? Are you always stroking your hair? Are you always touching on his arm? Because women touch on arms and stuff to check. Men think it's, oh yeah, she like me. No, y'all think y'all slick. Y'all touching him to see if he beefy, to see how thick he is, to see if his oomph is there. So, when you go on the date, you sit down and you talk. You talk and you just don't spark, just don't create some talk about banking, all that. Just talk about what you see in nature. The next thing is the holding of hands. When the holding of hands, you're not holding the hands for a sensual purpose. You're holding the hands to sense his energy. Is he a taker? Do you feel drained? Is he squeezing your hand like he's trying to break it? Does he touch your fingertips first? Does he put his hand on top of yours? Does he hold it softly? Does he wait for you to respond before he gives you the same strength or squeeze you at the same pressure? That all determines his psychology as it pertains to who he is naturally. Can he adjust to change? If he's 6 foot and you 4'2", can he adjust to that? The next is the walk. The walk is the most important thing dealing with the psychology. If you're walking with him and he's pulling you, he's more likely to be alpha. That means he's not reading you. He's just going where he wants to go. Okay, he's not paying attention to the environment or anything. He's just walking. He's not sensing you. He's not doing any of that. That is very important. All right. If you're walking and you're walking ahead of him, two things can be happening. One, he's checking you out from behind. He's looking at your shape. He's looking at all of that. You guys, our ladies have to understand, men's mind is very simple. They're not complicated. Okay. A man register women based upon shapes, the triangle, the circle, and the square. The more circles you have, like collect not one circle, but the more circles you have, whether you like this or you like this or you like this and like that, that determines how much like a testosterone pool he'll have towards you through nature, because that's what men look at. You could be at a grocery store and he could be in a line talking and a woman can walk by. He'll notice it from his peripheral. It's not that he's looking at, oh, look at her shape. He doesn't even really see her shape, but he sees her shape, but he's looking at shapes up. It's the circles that caught him. I'm telling you, natural mathematics right now. Don't put your old men are just we're not getting into that. Okay. I'm showing you the steps on how men think, because we don't got to get into the chemical aspect into it next. The chemistry, the testosterone. All right. So he's checking out your shape. If he's checking out your shape before he feels your energy, that means 9 times out of 10, he will not be able to adapt to certain things first. Most men who are adaptive, who've gone through certain things in life, who's basically mellowed down, who's on that level, but he's learned how to control where his frequency will be. He will usually walk alongside of you. It's like dancing. If you turn, he turns. If he does this with you, no matter what you do, and he's fluent, that's the one you take to the next step. Don't argue. You never argue, because in relationships, no one ever lies to you. Ever. No one. The only person that lies is you. If you look at their clothes, the people that they hang around, the car they drive, the job that they have, how they communicate with their mother, how they communicate with their father, if they help others, if they hold the door for others even outside of you, those type things give you a natural profile on his psychology. Pay attention to it. Okay? Because they don't lie. You get yourself in trouble with this. So if he makes it past the walk, remember, dress in sweats. Try to let him sense you, not too much see you. That in the martial arts is one of the highest level that we have, is being able to be blindfolded and still sense our environment. That's why I don't have a lot in my room, because I train here. I don't need a lot of stuff. Everything I need is, see, that's everything I need. I don't need all that extra junk. Men that are comfortable with themselves are the same way. If he wears a lot of watches and bling, 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 that tells you about what he's about. If you see a man, he has a cowrie shell necklace on and that's it, that tells you a lot about him. He's not flashy. He's not a show off, but that doesn't tell you everything until you get into his dwelling. Okay. So you have to watch that too. Once he makes it past the park stage, the next stage is the gym. Do not go to a restaurant. You want to go The next day is in a working out environment. This is why this shows if he has the capability of having adaptive teamwork skills in a relationship. Can he watch over you? Can he see if when you're lifting, you're straining? Can he help coach you through it? Is he just going to be like, get that fucking weight up? And if he's hard on you, that's going to tell you what it's like during a combative, whether it be bill paying, arguments, dealing with people in public, or you pushing each other health-wise, physically, sexually, or whatever. That's going to tell what he's about. Okay? When you work out with, if you guys can work out together and push each other in a humble way, and you could tell us in a loving energy, that's big. Okay? If he makes it past that, then you have the dinner. And nature is the hunt. You're hunting for food. His diet, what he eats and how he eats, tells you how he receives information. Now, for those people that's vegetarian, just because he eats a steak, that doesn't mean he doesn't receive information, okay? Because my ancestors ate buffalo and all the other things. So, but they ate it, you know, only during ceremonies and, you know, like weddings and, or, you know, unity of villages and that type thing. They didn't just eat it because the buffalo was out there. Or if they needed fur, they didn't waste the animal, okay? So watch his diet. If he's eating and his head is down and he's just, that's animalistic behavior. That's a form of insecurity. A man that eats with his head down like this and he's not even breathing. That's a form of insecurity. That means he's scared that something's going to take the food. He has to eat the food before anyone else can get it. Okay? If he has more meat than he does foliage, that shows you something about him. All right? If he has more foliage than he does meat, that usually means they're more healthy, you know, psychologically and spiritually. If he has a balance of both, then that's cool because he's probably keeping his levels up, his testosterone, protein, so on and so forth. Most guys that are heavy in the training, like how I am in the combative arts and things, they don't eat a lot of meat. They only eat a certain amount of meat during certain times. You can tell from his girth. If he eats and he's upright like this, he's usually pretty disciplined and controlled. If he's hunched over like this and he's, he's not secure within himself and his environment, he's not watching over you. Now, if his feet are planted firm and he has your hand and he's looking at you, but he's looking around, that means that he's protecting you with his energy. That means he's connecting to you and he's connecting to what's going on. When your eye is dangerous, he has to be able to balance the two, to watch the environment. Not only is he supposed to watch you, he's supposed to watch what it is you eat. Does your food touch? Usually women whose food touch, they're more organized. You know, they're like a lot of Sagittarius are like that. They don't like their food touching. People who like their food to touch, they're more creative. They're into the arts, music, sometimes dancing, sometimes combative things, but not people that separate their food and they like things in particular orders. They're a left brain thinker. This is dealing with men. They're left brain thinkers. If he writes with his left hand, he's a right brain. You know, he has left brain thinking, but he functions from a little bit of the right brain because he's more neat with different things. Usually they're architects and that type thing. Pay attention to that. Okay. Next step. If you take him home, if he just walks into your house and goes into your bathroom and goes into your kitchen and goes into your bedroom, that's not the one you want. Not when you first meet him. Most real men will first, even though he's with you, he will observe your environment. That is his job, is to learn you. If he goes in and he sits down and he asks, hey, may I use the restroom? Hey, may I go into the kitchen? And then when you give him permission, see, you have to relinquish the respect of being in your village with everything. Once you relinquish that, And he'll know, because when you say, hey, I want you to drive the car, he may have his own car, but if you ask him to drive your car, that's a sign to him of submission. Submission, ladies, you guys have a big problem with, because you guys think submission is, oh, that motherfucker, I did that. That's not submission, that's ignorance. Submission is when you're saying, I'm not lowering my guard, but I'm more humble in different things. Because you did this, I'm going to do this for you. Your submission is balancing energy. Okay? Without him having to physically put on a show to gain your confidence. So when you tell, like I hear ladies say, oh, I don't like a man that can't spit game. Well, what is spitting game? Game is a carefully constructed lie to gain your confidence. That's what spitting game is, which means you want him to lie to you. And if you want a man to lie to you, anything that happens after that is your fault. I'm going to say that again. Spitting game is a carefully constructed lie to gain your confidence based upon his observations of you, which means he saw you in a club, he saw you somewhere, wherever it was he saw you, he said, okay, I see how she drinks, I see how she stands, I'm going to pick that one. Then he's going to try through conversation to see how you react to things, see if you walk up on him, if he may accidentally, when you know, let me buy you a drink, and he pull out his whole knot of his wallet to see how you respond. Or he may see what your girls are doing, or what kind of purse you have, or where you sit. See, those type things I'm trained to do. I'm trained to profile my environment, is what I do. I don't care if I'm going to the grocery store. I'm watching rooftops. I'm watching bushes. I'm watching to see if you're carrying, how you're walking, if you have a limp, if you have a twitch, if you just looking for certain scars, tattoos. That's what he's supposed to do. But most guys will use that in the wrong manner. Okay. Now, later on in a relationship, let's just say you guys have you've made it to the courting stage. This is where you're getting to know each other's energy, the chakras, seeing how your energies can connect. You're getting to know you guys' inner chemistry through touch, electromagnetic connections, sight, through smell. Now, in the martial arts, we only have touch because everything has to touch something. When you see something, you had to touch the retina. To hear something, had to touch the eardrum. So our main thing is touch. But touch is very important. Even so much so to in relationships, when you have a problem, let's say when a man comes home. When a man comes home, you never ever approach him and hug him above. Like, don't come up on him. Hey, baby, don't do this right as he come in, because he just came from the battlefield. He just came from the woods. That's where your guard is up. So his guard is not dropped. He's not settled. When he sits down, this is when you approach him. When he sits down, he'll sit like this. When he when he hunches down like this, anything that drops the neck and drops the shoulders is a form of relaxed submission. That's when you approach him. I don't care how bad the household got. I don't care what you may have found out about him. You cannot control a balanced, fluent energy and get the things you want to get unless the energy is in its proper flow. So when he sits down and he's like this, after a day of stressful work or whatever it is he may do, when you see him in submissive form, you'll know, because he'll start out like this and he'll slowly do this. He'll hunch. When his feet go up, when his K1 points was at the bottom of your feet, when his feet does this, this is allowing his blood to flow. Okay? That's when he's getting relaxed. When he's getting relaxed, you give him a peace offering. A peace offering could be water, beer, a smoothie, whatever it is he likes. Give him a peace offering. A peace offering from a woman to a man after a day's work, that basically means you made it home. I love you. Regardless of what goes on here, relax. That immediately shuts him off. He's not thinking about the outside world anymore at all. Okay? That's very important. When he comes in and he gets in that state, now this is if you're having a good day at home. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the bad day. But if you're having a good day at home, when he does this, Allow him to burn off his energy. Usually they'll watch TV. Usually nowadays do stuff with TV. They very rarely go out and go lift weights and things. Now they usually will go watch TV. When he's in his space, leave him in his space. Wait till he comes out. When he comes out and he's in his chill space, you should be going through your anointings. You should be in your spiritual mode now. In other words, that's when you do your baths and your incense and like, you know how y'all go in and y'all wash and swoop your head and put the tornado up here, you know, and y'all put the tornado on and then y'all take the granite rocks and things and be scrubbing and exfoliating or foliating, whatever it is. And you know how y'all do. Y'all be in the tub for like 48 hours doing God knows what. And, you know, you got all the candles in there looking like, you know, firehouse been up in there. Incense, lighting, you know what y'all do. After you do those processes and you anoint yourself with the oils and so on and so forth, that's when you come down and you don't say anything to him, okay? Let his senses follow you. This is very important out of all things I'm going to tell you. Let his senses chase you, okay? In a relationship, if he cannot hunt, his testosterone level goes down. Okay, you have to let a man hunt you using his senses. At that point where he feels like he's not hunting and his testosterone will get into different levels, he'll start straying. He'll look for a hunt. The first thing he gets, he'll try to sneak into it because he's not going to feel like he can say, hey, baby, my testosterone level. Da, 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 da. So usually he'll go off and do something he's supposed to be doing because it's his nature, but he has to be humble with it and talk to you. But let his senses smell you. Let him smell the oils on him. Let him on you. Let him see the oils on the skin. Let him see the reflections from the light in the house. Let him see the shapes on you. Remember the triangle, the circles, and the square. Let him see the thigh. Let him see, you know, that's when you accentuate your circles. Okay, circles are creation. Circle means motion. I don't care what you put it in. In nature, circle means motion. Water follows circle. Okay? When it crashes, it rolls. Everything in nature will follow circle. A square means you're sitting still. So you don't want to have nothing on where you come downstairs and you like got on the pillowcase from 1962 where you got a king size pillowcase on and you looking like a wrapped up Snickers. You can't do that. You can have it on, but have a certain kind on because you want him to hunt. The more he hunts you, the more his testosterone level goes up. The higher his testosterone level towards you, the higher his senses towards you, well, he may tear some things up. And the more he does that, the more he'll stay focused on you. Okay? Because you're appeasing to his senses. Don't get this caught up with the mind because most men don't use this a lot of times and they're not trained. They can't balance the two when they're in certain modes. Okay. It's your job to create that, just like it's his job to create it with you. Okay. So when you get out of the tub from your bath and your whatever the scrubs is you guys do, because y'all have so many, Lord Jesus, all the stuff that y'all have is ridiculous. Y'all have apple butters, permalade butters, apple cider vinegar butters, passion, spearmint, butternut squash creams. Y'all have so much stuff. Like going to y'all's aisle was like going to the non-edible fruit and smoothie aisle. It's just confusing to the senses. But when you put these things on and you walk by, he is going to smell it. Men will usually smell it. And they'll first turn with their eyes, even though they know smell it. They'll do this, and then you turn around, they'll act like they ain't looking at you. Because they don't want to look like that you got control. See, at that point, he knows you have all the control. He just don't want to let you know that you got control because you got to be the man. So when you come back, that's when you do things like pick up something. Let him see circles. This is not, no X-rated thing. I'm just saying you're getting to his senses. Then speak to him. Let him hear you. When you talk to him softly, I don't care if he's looking at the best football game ever. Let him see you and move slowly wherever it is you go. When he comes in there, whether it takes him 20 minutes, 10 minutes, some dudes, it would take 2 minutes if all his senses are engaged. He is then submitted to you. When he comes and you're laying in a lower area, like in the bed, or you're sitting down, or sometimes y'all be down there clicking, picking on your pinky toenails and stuff, and pinching and crimping and shaving and all that stuff. Sometimes you just putting the toes on and the clear stuff on your nails and things. When you come in, don't sit or be where you're eye level. Make sure you're below shoulder or chest or nipple or chest level. The reason for that is when you're in that mode and you have the oils on you and you're shining and you're glistening, and you're in certain, your energy is in certain states, you want him to look down. When he looks down, he is now submitting his energy to you. That is when his energy is looking down and you're like this, he is basically giving you homage. He came up, his senses followed, he chased, he came in, he submitted. When he submitted, his energy is now focusing on you. So his energy is going inward and yours is outward. That's when you use your softness and your energy to basically caress him. You're changing his aura. You're taking off the work garb and the daddy garb and other stuff. And he's a male. That's when that male energy garb comes up and you magnify each other. So when you unite, you begin to travel. When you travel, you have to communicate through warmth, sound, motions, and sight. In other words, when you hum and you say certain things, and you do what they call theta breathing. Theta breathing with a man activates certain things in his chakras. It will increase his testosterone. It will make the spinal fluids in him flow more. It'll make him more creative through theta breathing. He then will try to match theta breathing through motion. Then he'll match his motion with his theta breathing. Then that's when you're supposed to do the same motion. In that is when, as the feminine energy, you're supposed to go into a creative state. That's when you're supposed to focus on you guys in a balanced way and think about what it is you guys need or where you need to travel. So that when your ionic field, that's where relationships, like I was saying before, my version or breakdown of the word relationships is to relay ionic fields to travel or to ship or travel together. Okay? That's when you travel. That is your job as the healer, as the gatekeeper to codes. That is when your codes are supposed to open up. That is when your senses are supposed to pick up on things because you have that female intuition. So when that intuition comes in, whether he's having a bad day or something he's not telling you or whatever, that's when those codes kick in and you use those codes to heal or change certain frequencies within him. And he won't know it until later on. When that man wakes up after his journey, because 9 times out of 10, he's going to be comatose, just drooling like his eyes would be lowered and snuffle up against some Big Bird in the alley, because them two was smoking a heck of weed in that alley on Sesame Street. I don't care what nobody say. Them two was potheads. You want him hide and snuffle up against a Big Bird in the Sesame Street alley. When he comes back, he usually will wake up. Hey, baby. Hear how his voice, the bass, got deeper. He's speaking from the gut. He's speaking from everything. Because you can put him through an anointing. When he goes out to the next journey, whether it be at work or anything, that man is not thinking about work. He's not thinking about pain. He ain't thinking about arthritis. His mind is so mellow, it's ridiculous. When you call him, you say, hey, baby. He'll say, hey, baby. In his mind, he's wondering what you're doing. He's thinking about yesterday. He's thinking about going home because he wants more, Now he's also thinking about, what do I want to do for her? I want to take her here. I want to be able to do this for her. So now he's aligning his energy to bring about creation or use the creative energy that you guys merged and opened the gates to the previous day, night, or morning before. I hate the word morning, the day before or the night before. When he does that in the middle of his job, and a lot of ladies are like, I'm not doing that because I don't do that. I don't do that. Those are usually the ones that have a messed up relationship because you're not free. You're trying to be like the Joneses and I'm not going to do. Send a picture, write a poem, make him, or even if you got him something. Men, you guys don't know this, but when they go to work, they talk about it. They don't tell you this, but they talk about it. I know because I've worked in plants and everything. The dudes who really are getting that, when they be like, dude, hey, let's go out to, no, I got to go home, man. I got to go to the boss. I got to get to my wife. That's what they tell people when things are done right. He won't even go out and think about doing anything ignorant. And before he do, he'll call you. He'll do it in a passive aggressive, hey, babe, you know, Craig was thinking about going over here, but I don't want to do it because, you know, I know I got to come home. But he's saying is, baby, can I go out and play? He's submitting to you, asking you if he has your permission to go somewhere, to go to other areas before he comes home to the village. Now, I'm going to give you a warning sign with a man. If a man gets off work at 8 o'clock and he don't come home till 10, 9 times out of 10, he made another stop because he does not want to go home. If your man does not contact you, or if he's not home around the usually, like if he's forcing himself to go home, or if he comes in with extra bags, like an extra beer or whatever, he's not spiritually happy. What's going on, Bowden? He's not spiritually happy. He's forcing himself to come to a place he does not want to be. At that point, this is where the next part of this particular, because I'm not giving everything because I'm writing a book on this. So I'm not giving all, I'm just briefly tagging certain things. So you guys get the book when it come out. When he comes home and if he's stressed, if you had a bad day or if he did something wrong or you did this, is something you guys didn't resolve where you know it's going to be an argument. You never, I cannot stress this enough. You never, ever, 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 ever argue in your household. Never argue in your home. This is why. When you argue in your home, you're creating an ionic field of imbalanced energy. It creates pockets in the house. So every time you walk past that pocket, you're feeling that energy. Every time you argue, you're going to feel that because you allowed that to happen in your four corners or your 490 degrees. Negative energy stays trapped in corners. The more energy you build, it starts to creep up on you. Okay? To the point that every time you come home, you like, why we always argue? Y'all are not realizing that what you did was put negative energy in your household bank. And you immediately walked into it and marinated yourself in energy that happened yesterday, the day before, 10 years before that, and so on and so forth. So you're resonating in argument energy. So you don't argue in the home. You always go outside or you have a walking route to where you are walking and talking outside. Why? Because instinctively you will not argue in public because you don't want to look a certain way. And the energy is not coming into the home. Okay? It never comes into the home, ever. It's outside. The initial part of it is being filtered by Mother Nature. Also, when you're walking and talking, you're burning energy. When you're burning energy, when you're walking and releasing, by the time you get home, you're not going to have the energy to do that. It allows you to woosah. It allows you to marinate. During that marinating, if male or female, during the time that you are in your rest chamber, in your bedroom, your travel space, if the man touches the woman or the woman touches the man, that is a form of apology. They may not say it physically, but that's a form of submitting and apologizing. Acknowledge it. Don't take it over to the next day. Because it's those little things that'll break up your relationships. It'll lower your chemical levels. It'll make your natural instinct want to wander. You'll start looking. You'll start looking for reasons. You'll go to other things and then take those other things from your past relationships into the new one. Basically, that ionic field didn't leave, so it's stuck on you. So a lot of people will go and they'll meet someone else and do the same action with that other person because they brought that ionic field too into that relationship, and it trickled over into their field, which made them react and would react to the energy that you gave them. But you're not realizing this. So you never argue in the home. Also, it will literally create its own spirit of itself. Your argument between the two and the way you focus on it, you will literally give life to a whole different spirit that will control you and feed off of you. So don't get into that. Once you talk about something, you need to acknowledge it wholeheartedly and let it go. And when you let it go, don't just walk up and say, I'm good, I'm good. Let it go together. You have a clear understanding outside without your shoes on. Walk outside, unless it's cold as heck outside and snowing or something. But acknowledge it, look at each other, sense each other. If you feel tension, looking away or anything like that. If you see tension, or if they're tense or they're looking away, like they're not listening. Okay. If you're talking to a man and you be like, you did it, and he looks at you and he be like, and he looks and he breathes down, that's a form of submission. Okay. He already knows what you're saying is right. He's just ready to go to the next step. Okay. Another thing when you're talking in relationships with a man, when you're talking to a man, you literally have a 5 to an 8 minute window with him. I'm gonna say this again. You have a 5 minute to an 8 minute window to make your point clear. That is your most important time frame to make your point. If you do it where you just know how women talk with that, hold on. Don't do this. This is what the women do. They call what I call finger talk, where they be like, when they do this with their hands, like with their nails, and they talk with their fingers. Don't do that. When you do this and you're talking with your hand, you're swiping energy down. And what happens is that the more you walk up on him, you got to remember men have two sides. They have the supportive side, and then they have the combative side. If a man is trying to step away from you, it's because he's trying to submit to you in a humble way and process what's going on and work it out within his own head and his time frame. But every time you hit him with something, it's like a new ripple. He can't adapt to it that fast. So you give him the most important points, you speak it, and when you talk to him, you have to touch him around his hip, the chin. Don't touch him around the jawline or anything. You can touch the chin, rubbing the hair usually calms a man down. You have to submit him by calming his energy down and then using your feminine energy in a peaceful way, express what it is you have a problem with directly. No guesses, no any of that. Express what it is, allow it to resonate in him, and watch his natural reaction. If he says, baby, I apologize, and he gives you a hug, he really means it. If he says, man, whatever, now he know he messed up, he just don't want to acknowledge it. But when he do this, man, whatever, and he drops his head, he submitted to you. You already won the argument. Don't keep poking at it, because he knows what he's done wrong. Now, if he does it again, that's when arguments don't come in and you get quiet. Silence is your best weapon in an argument against a man. Why? Because he cannot gauge the natural nature and instinct of what it is you're mad about, much less what you're going to do or what you're planning to do. So usually he'll say, baby, what's wrong? He'll ask you again. Now, usually when he asks you, he won't. If he does walk up on you, notice how he on guard. He'll put his hand at the base of your spine, and he'll have another hand break somewhere in case he got to run or move, because he's already in submitted state. He wants to know what happened. So you have to be mindful of your energy and how powerful your words are. A woman's words and energy is stronger, and if not as strong as a man's punch. Okay? When you speak, know that every word you say is not going to his head. That's why you can be like, what did I just say? He heard you, but he don't remember it. He literally cannot regurgitate what it was you just told him 2 minutes ago. A lot of women think they're not paying attention. No, that's not the case. It didn't hit him here. It'll hit him here. Men come from the heart. Women don't come from the heart. Men are heart emotional. Women are mental emotional. That's why when things happen 5, 10, 15 years ago, and Jacqueline did this, and Susie did that, and he did this, da, 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 da. You don't let it go here. You got to learn to go from here to here. Prepare your file here, change it with your energy, go into softness. It's like Tai Chi. A Tai Chi person can throw you just as far as a Keto person, because a Keto is soft too. Or when you get into Lion with Bagua, what hits you hard. But Tai Chi can almost sometimes hit you harder and throw you harder based upon how you project it. Projection is very important. So watch how you project to him. When you are in conversations, when it comes to something that happened to you, like a problem, remember that your man is not your girlfriend. When you are talking to him about a problem, get to the problem, let it go. Because it is his job to solve. He's listening to what's going on so he can solve the problem. Anything after that 5 or 8 minute window, if you still talk about the same thing, he's not going to care about it. You have to let him hear it, let him solve it. He's going to give you a solution. It may work, it may not work, but it's his job to create a solution to help heal the problem, not deal with it. Let him heal the situation. If it's something that I just want to vent sometimes, I don't want a solution. That's when you go to your girlfriend. Because what's going to happen is the more time that you talk to him and you're not trying to allow him to do his role and give you a solution, he's not going to listen to you when you come to him the time before. He'll blow you off. And you don't want that, because at the time when you guys start blowing each other's energy off, you're not exchanging energy. And that's not good. That's draining. It's depleting. And you want to build. So always do whatever it has to do to build, because at the end of the day, your job is to heal the situation by knowing the nature of him. His testosterone plays a big part. Our ladies, please, if you take offense to this is on you, because you coming from your mind and not from wide wisdom of what I'm about to tell you. Ladies, you can control a man by controlling what goes on in the kitchen. I'm going to say this again. You can control a man's thinking by what goes on in the kitchen. Ladies today, usually these young girls know nothing about the laws of the kitchen. The kitchen is the laboratory. The kitchen is your science lab. The kitchen is your pharmacy. It's your mental, physical, and emotional, and even sometimes financial pharmacy. Why do I say that? Our grandmother, when you go to Thanksgiving dinner, whatever dinners you go to, usually you're looking for Big Mama's cooking. Why are you looking for Big Mama's cooking? Because Big Mama will knock you out. Her food will put you in spirit domain. It will heal you. You can have a bad day and grandma can make a cake. You'll go and say, hey, grandma, did you make a cake? What'd you cook? Usually you talk to her and go to the refrigerator. Why are you going to the refrigerator? Because you want that medicine to put internally. Why? What was it about that medicine? Ladies, this is not just the elder, but I'm getting on you. The kitchen is the medicine because you are putting your hands, vibrations into the food. The stronger and better your vibration, like you never should cook if you're upset. If you're upset, then the family starves. But don't give them food that is touched by your hands during anger, because you are feeding the household with creative feminine energy, which gives birth to everything. Gives birth to everything. If you're putting it into that food and you're putting that vibration in the food, then you are allowing them to digest and give resonance to negative energy, which repeats, ripples throughout the household. It can make them sick. And if they're sick, now you're going to be tired because they sick and tired. Now you got to go in the kitchen, do whatever it is you got to do to get them to feel better. Then when you feel better, everybody gone. Because they are, connecting with earth. So cooking is very important. This is why I tell people when it comes to the art form of Reiki. Reiki is very important because when you're cooking, you're Reiki. When your grandma will cook, she'd be in there humming spirituals, whether it be church songs or whatever. She's in there humming and praying. She's in her spirit mode when she's cooking. You ever seen grandma cook in some houses? And she got her music on, she just dancing and talking to herself. And then you come over and try to get a cake and she, bosh, that kung fu come out. You try to get another one and she, bah, she just, that cooking wushu Jeet Kune Do come out on you when she got that spatula in her hand. And don't let her have a knife, because they expert with knives, boy. They'll be cooking and stab that knife in between your fingers and purposely miss you, but they could get you if they wanted to. That's that energetic kung fu. Okay, you have to master the kitchen. The kitchen is where the medicine is. The kitchen is if your man is having a bad day, or if he's around you and he's stinking, his breath is humming, his breath smell like his butt took a deep breath. Damn. If his butt smell like he took a deep breath, that's letting you know there's something going on mentally and dietarily. Your colon, not your stomach, this is your colon, this is your emotional center. If he is disrupted down here, there is something going on. It is your job to diagnose it by giving him something from the kitchen. That's when you cut him off of meat. You don't ask him anything, because once you get it, most men won't go in the kitchen once he gets used to your food. So you have to change what you put in. Don't ask him, baby, do you want this? You make it, because women are the rulers of the household. The man only condones and secures the laws that she creates. My uncle told me when I was a younger one, he said that, damn, I did sound country saying that. When I was younger, and even till this day, my uncle will always say, we call him Uncle Groovy, because he act and look like showed up. He would always say, a man may wear the pants in the household, but the woman tells the man where to find the pants. That simple little phrase means a whole lot. Okay? For all you guys that just joined, please go on to the link above. If you're on Facebook, click on the YouTube link and join us on YouTube and subscribe, like, comment, and share. Because if you don't go on YouTube, you're going to miss out on a lot, like gold, silver, copper, bullion, heirloom seeds for you to grow during the summer. Could possibly be a case of sage. It could be a Tibetan crystal bowl. It could be anything dealing with tangible, spiritual, mental, and physical growth and financial growth is what I'll be giving away on my page. Just by you watching, sharing, and learning and questioning, asking questions. Okay? So if you miss out, that's your fault, because I'm going to give you classes on what to do with that silver and gold once you get it. These are things that they don't tell our people. This is why our people are in the state that they're in. So I'm trying to teach you all the way around. So you can't say, I'm having these issues because of that mother, or my finances or my job. And because I told y'all before, years ago, you see the government shut down. They may be shut down for 6 months. They're going to close out the banks eventually. I don't care if you got a Lexus, Mercedes, Benz, whatever, $100,000 in your bank account. If you can't get to it, guess what does that mean? You're going to starve. You can't trade with that paper money. So I'm trying to show you how to have your own tangible asset to be able to trade. I'm also giving you tangible information on knowledge, spirituality, health, your things with your children, how to handle things with your children, how to control ionic fields, vibrational fields, how to place chi. I'm giving you a lot. Okay, so please take heed to this, because once I'm done with this YouTube, that's it. Like, I'm gone. I'm not, I'm working on building Spectrum City. When I build this city for the people of our like minds with this land mass and people having their own geodesic dome homes and one huge kitchen where we all harvest and eat together and don't have to worry about all this crap we worry about here in America. We can just get up and do what we love to do and trade with that to take care of each other. That's what it's about. That's my main goal. All this other stuff with fighting about who are more, who are Israelite, who are Christian, who are Baptist, who purple, who pink, who are feminist, who not, who this, who that, who that will do. While we all fussing about all that crap and lecturing about old Egyptian tombs and all this other shit, China is growing, they cities getting bigger, Africa's getting bigger, getting wind turbines and organic gardening, and Australia just got over 100,000, basically half of Australia back, and South America is rebuilding and growing. The only people that ain't growing is us. Man, I'm not a talker, I'm a doer. So this is why I'm doing this. So no one can ever say that no man stood up and did this for the whole and not for his loins and his testosterone to make 1,000 babies and all the other crap. But anybody who know me know that don't faze me. I love him, but that don't faze me. My man is on this mission. And my mission is to make sure y'all safe. A man is not a man if the village is not cool, and a woman is not a woman and successful if the village as a whole is not successful. So that's my theory on it. We can all be lawyers, doctors, and be successful. But if we people still being shot and we got all these lawyers that's not giving them representation because they're not giving them $100,000, then we not successful. There's no reason why we should have all these doctors and lawyers and the first black woman to open up this and the first black this, the first blah blah and the first blah blah blah, and still ain't pulling nothing together. Still no network. Still can't help each other. We just another black that just a title now. It's like saying low fat or burning calories. Not even I'm a trainer and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as burning calories. You burn energy, but ain't no such thing as burning calories. It's a side pitch. But sorry about that rant because I get irritated with certain things. But know your man. If y'all have any questions, in about 5 minutes, I'm gonna answer questions. I'm reading this and I'm on YouTube and what's that page on, like Facebook? I hate Facebook. So I'm on both of these sites trying to keep up with the questions. And why is everybody crying laughing on here? What did I say? You know, I have no sense sometimes. I'll just say whatever comes to my mind. It just comes out sometimes. So maybe I need to get a censor button or something. I don't know. But I really want our women to understand and come back to the indigenous ways that we ran our relationships. I want our men to know that on this planet, you can say what you want to say, you can read what you want to read. The women, well, not all women, but certain indigenous women and certain frequencies are ordained to protect certain codes. And in that code, when they accept the level of this, that's another problem too. All our women just accepting men because of what they have. You got to accept them for what is your code tells you that they have the capability of doing. Because it is your job. You could see a man that has it, but if you don't open the code and he doesn't do it, then what good is it? Those are usually the ones that change the world, the ones that you walk by. Don't get used to the flashy thing, because those are the ones that people who usually only care about themselves, who, they may go to Whole Foods and do whatever, but all in all, they really care about them at the end of the day. And by the time they do decide to do something, they have dying or other stuff didn't work. You guys are the answer. The feminine energy is the code. If you get the feminine energy in tune, the rest of the world, especially in America, will obey. Okay? I'm going to do another video on live tomorrow about why this wall, that everybody's distraction with the wall and R. Kelly and all this other rapes and all this stuff is going on. The true reason why it's going on, the true purpose of the wall, the true purpose of the R. Kelly thing, and why they putting this in your face, and it's all still dealing with feminine energy. The wall is dealing with feminine energy. The shift that's going on the 17th, where all the planets will be in alignment. Perfect balance between man and woman and nature and woman. So if you ain't in certain alignments, you can still be eating whatever it is you're eating, but it's your heart that's going to count. If your heart ain't truly resonating on a frequency, when that thing get here, it's going to be a whole different reality for a lot of people. We already talked about that. I would answer that question, Shahira, but we already talked about that via phone. So, her question was, and I'm just going to answer this in a very simple way. What would you do, women who like being in submissive relationships? And the lady loved that kind of, and the lady, basically, what would a woman do that loves those dominant, submissive relationships? Which not sure which one she's talking about. If she's talking about the man being dominant and submitting her, or her being dominant and submitting him. It just depends on what form it's coming from. And like I said, if it's not from the natural way, then it causes an imbalance. If it's from an egotistic way to where you're just getting off on it, then that's not good. If it's from a you've had past trauma with, let's just say you've been beaten and raped or whatever else, so now you've become the dominant where you want to, or people talked about you or abused you, and so now as an adult, you become a dominatrix so that you can beat them, so that you can balance out that energy subconsciously. That's usually where a lot of that comes from. So it just depends on that particular person. I personally recommend for people to stick to the basic laws of nature. Anytime you go outside of that, you're going to have a problem. If you have some people that are just freaky as heck, then you need to be around other people that's just freaky as heck. If you like people who are into spiritual, like mental connections, where looking at a man or woman read a book or do a lecture gets you to that level, then you need to be with that particular tribe or group, because they'll resonate with your frequency better. But when you try to pull this one from here and put that one over here and create this over here, now you're going to have an instability. And what happens is the chakra shakes so fast that it destabilizes the other chakras and causes an imbalance, not only in your physical body, where it'll overload your kidneys and your liver, and in women, it'll overload the sun and the moon and their ovaries, and cause a time distortion within the womb, because the womb is the women on this plane who have a balanced womb control the time-space continuum. You have the sun and the moon, and you have the vortex within that the dark moon or dark black sun, which is the man, can come in and he has the sun and moon in his testicles. And when you align them, the ionic field creates a time-space continuum that opens up the Akashic records and brings forth life, whether it be, and that's information from things you've done in your family in your past and hers too. So as that seed comes in, it's absorbing information from your great grandmama, your granddaddy, and all these other people, even from you. That's what they come out looking like you, or they may look like you and act like your granddaddy, or they may draw, even though you could sing, they may not be able to sing, but they could draw or cook, and your great great grandmama could have done that. So all these things come out in this in that time space continuum of manifestation. So you got to be careful with that. I'm gonna get deeper again on this relationship thing, because I'm gonna get on the sensual part of it and how to use the sensual energy through breathing, motion, meditation, eye contact, how to increase your energy in a sexual manner without causing a turbine, what I call a turbine effect. In other words, you're penetrating each other and you're heating up your cells to create a combustion of energy to take you to different areas. Well, you can meditate just by you merging and not moving. And what happens is that when the male is in the woman and he's in her, this looks so weird. When he's in her, when she sits still and you guys are meditating and theta breathing and just holding and rubbing the spine and that type thing, he will begin to shake and vibrate. And that vibration activates the information in the time-space continuum and draws in energy from the sun and the moon from above and the dark sun from under the earth, which then correlates with what some people call the aurora borealis, which is Earth's chakra field. It aligns in one code. That aurora borealis comes through the crown, down into the spine through the woman and up through the man the same way. Then those colors from the aurora borealis and the dark spectrums and all the other light spectrums, when it gets to a certain speed and you guys are vibrating together on the same frequency, it then takes your molecular level to a whole nother level. That's when the spinal fluid in the man and the woman merge, and it creates a light. And when that light comes, you black out. You go into darkness before you start seeing other frequencies. You may start hearing things. You may see other entities. The veil is then lifted. When it leaves, you'll wake up and notice that the Oshun, or the water, is everywhere. You've been anointed. And I ain't talking about releasing, because you don't release. the woman basically keeps the turbine, the friction on the key is what I'm not, because I have to watch what I say because I'm on YouTube, y'all. So she keeps the friction on the key as he vibrates. When he does that, as he's vibrating in her, as the heat and the speed picks up, the water in her system activates and releases memory through the heating and the friction, which releases light frequency that goes into the chakras, into the blood cells, into the bones, through the skin, out of the hair, and goes into the ionic field for you to communicate with everything around you. Nature, the heavens, the moon, the stars, all that crap. Then when you start to come back, all that comes in you, like it's like you'll hear it. I've heard it before many times. It's like a and then you'll come up and be real lightheaded. It almost feels like a pressure headache. Like it's hard to explain. It feels like a pressure headache, but you're extremely hot, but but yet you're very relaxed. And when you stand up, it's like you've gone through a dimensional and vibratory rift that's trying to restabilize itself for your physical cells to be able to hold that new information on, whether it be travel, communicating, boosting Reiki, even pulling money from the ethers, creating money in different spots on your path. So there's a lot we're going to get into with this that, like I said, you're not going to hear from anyone else. So at this point, because I already passed the original point, I'm going to give you guys time to ask questions. We'll probably ask questions for another, or I'll answer questions for another 10 minutes. This is 9:40 my time. So I'll answer questions until 9:50, and then I'm hopping off because I don't think you can record on YouTube for no longer than an hour and a half or 2 hours. Anybody have any questions? Oh, that is a good team. If you guys have never had it before, make moringa iced tea with dried lemon peel and orange peel in it, with either maple syrup or organic cane, like the organic brown cane sugar. That is some good stuff, bro. Anybody have any questions? Nature. So what are other areas that can become if a person is not connected, the question was, when you first meet a man, if they're not connected to nature, then where can you meet them? In my personal opinion, any male, man, woman, or child that does not have a connection to nature has a problem, because your essence and your being, your dietary, everything comes from nature. So if they can't do that and you're a part of nature, then you're trying to fit a triangle peg in a round hole. It's not going to work to begin with. Don't even attempt it. Any relationship questions? I love those. That was a good question, though, Deshaun. And for everybody that's on the page, her name is Deshaun. This is for the people who can see this, even if you're on YouTube or on Facebook. Her name is Deshaun Ponder. She makes custom yoni chairs, the steam chairs, to fit whatever you. She'll post her information. I think she did it on the last video. And anybody who knows me know I try to help promote everybody. Thunderclap. What's Thunderclap? She custom makes yoni chairs for, women are now getting into the yoni steam cleaning. So instead of you just buying a regular old chair, you could be, 5'2" and 98 pounds, where you having a chair that's, meant for somebody that's 200 or 300 pounds. It may not be comfortable. You may want your chair to be a little higher or a little lower, or your back, lower or higher, or you may want a cushion higher in the back and lower in the front. You give her the diagram and she'll definitely get it done. Butt Creek. What? Thunderclap is the name of it. Butt Creek. You mean like the actual butt? Anybody on Facebook have any questions? Well, you guys, you got 5 minutes. Anybody that's on, please, if you're on YouTube, go down and hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and leave a question or comment. Here's a quick history fact that they don't tell you in the history things anymore. Did you know that thumbs up in Grecian culture during the arena time meant death, and thumbs down meant they approved? But they flipped it here so that everyone with thumbs up would be, they made it a positive thing. It's not a positive thing. Thumbs up meant death. Thumbs down meant life. Remember, it was like you had a book of life and you had the book of death. The book of death was the book of life. It's like when people say peace, this is not peace. This is separation. Peace was unity. So peace is usually together, not separate. So I gave y'all a history fact for today. And no, I have not given the word of the day yet. I'll be giving it this coming week because we just launched. I was not supposed to launch this until Monday. So I'll be giving the word of the month and the word of the week later on this coming week. Now, for those that answer it, they'll get a prize. In order for you to get that prize, you have to inbox me when I ask what's the word of the day. The first person that answers it when I go live in the comment section is the one that will receive the gift for listening, sharing, and being live. All I ask is that when you receive the gift on our next live, take a picture of it and post it. Go on your Facebook and post it. Post the YouTube channel, put it on your Facebook or Twitter with the gift that I gave you, and let everybody know what's going on. All right, you guys have 4 minutes. I am going to end this on the Facebook one. So everybody on Facebook, if you're watching this, we're still on YouTube, but I'm clicking it off of Facebook. I will see you guys on YouTube. See you later. Love you guys. Peace. You guys on YouTube, stay on here. What about the question? you just talked about the sensation with the feeling that goes to your head. Oh, it's crazy. So I'll take it you felt that before. 2 minutes. Oh, you don't have any sense sometimes. All right, you guys, I'm ending this in exactly 1 minute. It'll be 9:50 on my time. So I'm going to end this. I ask that you share this with everybody. Like I said, I didn't get into full detail because I have a book coming out that will fully detail this. Different things you can do to practice raising your energy, different oils you can use, what different oils do, and so on and so forth. So look out for the book when it comes out. I'll promote it on here and on Facebook. And if I have an Instagram, I'll put it on there. Please subscribe, share this, like, comment. Don't forget, look out because the tangible asset is coming to you, whether it be gold, silver, copper, seeds, smudge sticks. It could be a 10-pound block of black soap that you can use. It could be a case of shea butter. It could be a case of incense sticks. It could be a 3-pound bag of different crystals. You never, ever know what the surprise gift will be. So listen for the word, subscribe, and be ready. And also, on the bottom of this, down in the description part, when you drag down everything, it'll tell you what this is about. But if you go lower, there's a PayPal site down there. If you want to donate, any donations that's given will be humbly accepted. That donations will help build Spectrum City, which, in other words, will help buy land, passports of people that are trying to leave the country to live on land where they can grow food and live in peace.